All right, Village. This is a new one for me. Not trying to be any kind of clickbaity. This is real considerations that I am going through on whether or not I am going to maintain my foster care license or take a formal break. So for those of you who have followed my journey, I'm gonna give a recap, and if you're new here, let me just kind of set the stage. So I started this journey on YouTube, sharing the process of getting licensed to be a foster caregiver. That started in 2018. I was married at the time. I have had 5 years of being a foster caregiver, which is actually a pretty long time to maintain a license. Honestly, it's difficult for agencies to keep their foster parents licensed after 2 years. So I'm kind of a veteran in a lot of regard, which is crazy. I know 5 years does not seem like a lot. At the same time, a lot has happened in the last 5 years. I primarily take in foster teen placements, leaving the younger kids to better suited families. I now have an 8-year-old daughter and a 5-year-old son. Started this journey, while I was still pregnant with my son. Being a foster family is all that they have known. And I have always been in the space of, I will continue to be a foster caregiver. I wanna have my license and my home open just in case. But life has been changing, and as I get my recertification paperwork, and I have 2 months to complete my recertification to maintain my license, I'm actually really thinking about, does it make sense for me to do this? A year and a half ago, our family dynamic changed and went through some challenging times with my partner, and we ended up separating and getting a divorce last year. During that time, I was still actively fostering. I had a foster teen placement who actually kind of has been in and out of my life, and they were aging out of the system. Again, they came kind of in and out, but since then, since they left for the final time this past summer, I have been closed to any new placements, and I've been in communication with my caseworker to let them know where I'm at, and they know that I'm going through a lot. So let me walk you through what is involved in getting your recertification here in Ohio, and also then what my considerations are. So in the state of Ohio, every 2 years you get recertified. That means new paperwork, that means completing specific training. Typically it is going to be a set number of hours, but then your caseworker is going to select specific types of courses that would benefit you and support you. And then you do like your first aid type of stuff. Some of those hours can be online, and some of them can be or must be live. So that's live virtual or live in person. There will also be a number of like visits. I have a feeling there's a new safety audit, I wanna say. Yeah, actually, let me just go through the list. So submit the following for your recertification. Your notice of expiration and reapplication, that's just a signature, medical statement of all the members of your household, a financial statement, your training needs assessment. So each caregiver in the home does a training needs assessment to determine what training for the next 2 years would support me in my journey. A foster care review packet, a release of information from the BNV and Sheriff's Office, a fire inspection, pet vaccination records, verification of auto insurance, copy of driver's license, Bureau of Investigation criminal background check, professional and personal references, my training, a reunification agreement. So saying that, yes, I am still going to stand for reunification when it's safe and part of the case plan. A disruption agreement, so talking about what would happen in the case of a disruption, and a safe sleep policy if applicable, so that's for babies. And then doing a recertification assessment visit. So those are all the things. It is not just signing your name. Some of those forms are gonna be easy and that, but a lot of it is pulling records, going to offices, scheduling a visit. And the reality is, as much as I want to continue to foster, right now, my 2 permanent children, Darcy and Sawyer, really need me. Their life has been turned upside down with our family now being separated. They're still adjusting to mommy and daddy living in 2 different homes, different routines. There's a lot to adjust to. Darcy has finally been able to start therapy. She was on a wait list for months. but she has finally been able to start therapy, and that's really going to support her. And then next up is really getting Sawyer involved as well. Because of their different ages and personalities, their adjustment looks different. And with all of this change in our kind of nuclear family, our immediate family, adding a child into the home, it's gonna create something for Darcy and Sawyer. Out of responsibility, I'm not in a place right now to open that up for them. And it's not gonna be fair to a child coming into this environment and having to deal with, you know, hey, I'm a single parent every other week. I would have a lot to juggle. With that being said, I am a single parent. So that means that it is up to me to work full time, take care of the home, take care of the kids every other week, and then add on a child being placed here and all of their visits, all of their care and attention that they need. Again, it's gonna take some time until I'm there. Could I get all of this done? Absolutely. I'm about halfway done with my training. I can prioritize it over the next couple of weeks to make sure that I am getting those extra hours in. I can make this happen. I do have flexibility with my work. They know that this is a part of my life and it's a priority. But what's the point of going through all of this just to then have another year of not accepting any placements? And even if I don't have a placement throughout the year, I still have to be really present to what the policies are, because I can still get, you know, a policy violation. I actually did. I got a policy violation, you know, over the last few months, even though I didn't have a placement. I will do a separate video about that. But yeah, now I have a policy violation, and, you know, it wasn't critical. I'll go into that in the video. But at the same time, if I have my license, I still have to operate. I still, you know, operate under those foster care policies in the state of Ohio and with my county. That means at any time I could have a caseworker come over and check my home. And if a medication isn't locked up, or, you know, if they stop by and they see, you know, oh, something has changed and you didn't let us know, you now have a violation. So do I want to have that extra level of oversight during this time? In addition, I'm having real conversations about if I'm gonna stay in this home. I have a 4-bedroom home, which allows me to have a bedroom for each of my kids and then a dedicated foster room. And with where I'm at and my income level as a single person, I may not be able to stay here. I may have to downsize and get a 3-bedroom home, which would automatically make me ineligible to taking in placements. So that is a real conversation that I'm having. So this is why I am debating, do I go through all of these steps? Do I open myself up to having that oversight by the county and a caseworker, even though I'm not active? Or do I let my license lapse and expire, and then when I'm ready again, I start the process over at ground zero? I'm also sensitive to the fact that Be the Village is a foster care specific channel. And while I share other things, this is the foundation. And I'm still gonna be active in child welfare. I still work for nonprofits. I still wanna continue that work. I wanna be in with the community. I want to support as much as I can, but my credibility is gonna be gone in a lot of, you know, people's minds if I don't have an active license. That's not a deciding factor for me, but again, it is a consideration. Because I have just 2 months to get this recertification completed, and that's not including the time that my caseworker needs to file the paperwork, I get to make this decision very quickly. And ultimately, I need to make the decision that is best for myself and my family. Of course, I want to make sure that I'm open and available to help and support a child or family who is going through crisis. Like, I want to be able to open up my home for that. Realistically, I would think even though I let my license expire, if there was some kinship, if there was a friend or a family member who was going through a crisis and their kids needed placement, I would think that I would still be considered for kinship, and I can cross that bridge when it comes to it. But I would be acting as kinship and not as a foster caregiver. But honestly, that's the only reason I would keep my license open. Many of the kids that I've supported are over 18, so most of them are not at risk for re-entering the system at this time. That's not the case for all of them. but at the same time, I don't know if I would be able to support. So that's where I'm at. If you are going through a recertification, or if you have been in a situation like myself where you're contemplating keeping your home and your license open or closing it and deciding to reopen in the future, share your story in the comments below. Again, the comments are a very kind and safe place. So please use inclusive language and speak about your own experiences. We don't want to break any confidentiality of others and their family. And as always, I will keep you guys updated. I know that this is a big update and a big consideration. And while it is personal to my life, I do know that I've opened myself up to the world in sharing my journey. And so this is no different. I wanted to include you guys into what I'm doing. So until next time, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.